This is a tournament that puts 317 baseball teams on a county-by-county map of the United States and imagines each as an independent army ready to expand across the map and gain power. Most of these teams are domestic. Some are invaders, coming in from all sides: Canada, Korea, England, Denmark, and from the Dominican Summer League. Every team made up of real players from 2025. Taking empty counties upgrades your best player. Defeating other teams allows the looting of their best player and any others they've captured. Will an Arizona Draft League team rise up and put down the Dodgers? Will Toronto run amok once they cross the border? Will the Quad City River Bandits face the Amarillo Sod Poodles in the finals? Since every matchup is decided by one game, upsets will happen. Rigidly tracked three-man rotations will be set and left unmodified unless the team inherits an ace. Stats will be kept and this map meticulously modified on every single turn. Let's begin. There are lots of rules in this, most of which I'm going to cover during the actual game. Like as we go through something, you will see how it works as we go. I figured I'd rather do that than sit here and explain for like 10 minutes all the various situations that could arise and how I'm going to handle them. But basically, here are a couple of things you do need to know. There's only one team per county unless the county has two major league teams in it. For instance, Cook County has the Cubs and the White Sox, so I have cut that into a north and south. Teams that can't fit in there because they're single A, they will be placed into the next closest county, eventually just kind of fan out around the area. Chicago is another really good example of this situation. There are a lot of teams around Chicago. Independent cities will be erased, and teams that are supposed to be in an independent city will be placed in the closest actual county. This mainly only affects Virginia. Islands off the coast of mainland United States will be erased. In-game injuries are fine, but none that will last after the game, so every team starts fresh in every game. To avoid confusion, the Arizona Complex League, the Florida Complex League, and the Dominican Summer League teams will only have a plain nameplate on the map until their parent teams cease to exist. I would imagine most of these will cease to exist before that happens in most cases, but it will be interesting to see how many of those stick around. The first round, all teams will go once, attack, defend, or upgrade. Then round 2 will begin, and it will be a free-for-all. Finally, I don't really expect this to be watched by many people. It's far too niche, and it will be really epically long, but I'm putting this online so that specifically my brother, who lives in a different state, will be able to see this. Originally, I was going to do this for my own entertainment and decided that it was way too much work for that, and if at least one other person in the world finds this interesting, that would make it worth recording. Let's begin. The first thing we need to do is all 317 teams on a random wheel, and our first contestant is the Norfolk Tides. So we're going way off to the East Coast, and let's take a look where they are. Here's our first close-up of the map. Now, when we get in close on this thing, it's going to be very ugly. The sometimes gorgeous minor league logos will be pixelated and obscure, but as they become successful, they'll get bigger and more glorious. So the Norfolk Tides have no one around them. Endless upgrades, so we've got to go to their roster here. Whoever their best player is, we've got Colton Cowser, left fielder. What's going to happen with Colton and every player who gets upgraded in this manner is we're going to go take a look. He's a left fielder, so we're going to look at the hitter attributes and randomly select one. So for him, we've got infield, outfield, range. He's an outfielder, so we're going to go to the outfield range, and it's going to get a plus 50. So he goes to 177. His overall rating was 54, and it's up to 59 just from that. So this will be the player that always gets upgraded for the Norfolk Tides every time they, are active in this way. Also, as we go through each team, I'm going to set up the depth chart and lineups for left and right. And we can see Colton Cowser's batting third here. He is the star of the Norfolk Tides, AAA team. This team should do well, especially since they're surrounded by nothing. We're also going to set up the three-man rosters and have the coaches select who their rotation will be. I've got all of this written down so that I will be able to keep track of it. When they actually do play a game, Dean Kremer will be the first person in the rotation, Kyle Brunovich and Cameron Weston. Let's actually take a look at the map. I'll kind of give you an orientation here. On the West Coast, these are all Korean teams, and on the bottom we have the Dominican Summer League teams, and as you can see, they don't have logos because it would be too confusing. If the parent teams get wiped out, then the logos will appear. The only state that doesn't have a team here, not counting Hawaii and Alaska, is Louisiana. We've got the Arizona Fall League and the ACL teams here in Arizona. These don't correspond with the correct counties because there's too many of them. Based on my one team per county rule. There's the glorious Quad City River Bandits. I'm rooting for them, and a number of other teams which I will bring up as time goes by. There's the crowded Chicago, which I've talked about, and we've got some Canadian teams up north, and on the East Coast we've got an invasion of British and Dutch teams. Going back to the wheel, find out who our next team is. The Palm Beach Cardinals. There will be a game. We only had to wait one time. Palm Beach going north, and we'll be playing the Jupiter Hammerheads, a single A team. Set up their 3-man roster and set up their depth chart and lineups. I got to do the same thing for Palm Beach. While I'm doing this, let me go ahead and tell you that this video will see 30 teams to round 2. Once we hit 30 teams that have passed on to round 2, we'll stop and then we'll do another 30 in the next video. I assume at least half of the 30 will just be upgrade teams. So here we see the lineup for the Jupiter Hammerheads, and then we've got their counterparts, another single A team from California, or from Florida. There's their 3-man roster headed by Chen-Wei Lin. Just from, oh, nope, never mind. Headed by Jason Savacool, actually. Gets the nod. Chen-Wei Lin will be the number 2 man, so whoever they play next, Chen-Wei Lin will be playing that game. If they're lucky to survive. Now we've got their roster all set up, and got a Christian Martin leading off, and 37-38. Looks like Jason Savacool is the best player on the Palm Beach Cardinals. The attacking team will always be the visitor, so the Jupiter Hammerheads are going to be defending their county. The Palm Beach Cardinals are invading the county, so they're the visitor. Here are the lineups. These have already been set. During the first pass through all of these teams, I'm going to have to initially set up every team. I'm just going to run and have the managers set them up. I'm not messing with the teams at all outside of setting up the 3-man rotations and having the managers dictate the lineups. We are going to simulate this game. Sometimes I will go to the 5th inning, and sometimes I'll go inning by inning. This time we're just going to sim the whole thing. It is our first game, and the Jupiter Hammerheads were crushed. They even committed 2 errors. They had more hits. So what we need to find out is who is their best player, and we've actually got 2 here that are 35s. We get a closer and a relief pitcher, and one of these 2 will be going to the Palm Beach Cardinals. The rest of the team will become defunct. So we're going to figure out, is it the first guy or the second guy? And it's going to be the second guy. I think that's the closer, Elazar Dishmay. That is a last name I have never seen before. We're transferring him to the Portland team here now. Now, I'm not always going to show this, but this is the first time it's happened. So Mr. Dishmay is now on the Palm Beach team, and he's the new closer for the Palm Beach Cardinals. There he is. One of the most ironic things about this situation is Jupiter Hammerheads have what I would say is one of the worst logos in minor league baseball, and they're the first one erased from the map. And we're going to get a slightly larger Palm Beach logo. There it is. And we're going to take a color from the logo and fill in the county. Jason Savacool was named the player of the game. So for players of the game and people who get upgraded and traded to teams, I am finding their actual images and adding them to the game. There was Savacool, and there's Dishmay. Future stars. Spinning the wheel again, we get the Cleburne Railroaders, an American Association partner league team, one of the lower level teams. They've got a big problem. They're just south of the Texas Rangers. That is, where are they going north? Oh, no, I don't think so. I think they're going to get an upgrade, which is, yes, they definitely need an upgrade. The Frisco Rough Riders up there as well. So we got a couple of small teams in the vicinity of the Texas Rangers. That is dangerous for them. You can see the Cleburne I don't even know their name. Railroaders from Space. Shedlong is our guy. We are going to increase his arm by 50. So we go to 162. And Shedlong's overall rating will remain at 39. Went in at 39, and a 50-point upgrade to the infield arm keeps him at 39. I'm not sure a little extra accuracy and pop on a second baseman's arm is going to be the thing that puts Cleburne over the top, but they're certainly not ready to face Texas yet. The good news is a little team like this, surrounded by upgrade opportunities, and in the future they could produce a monster in Shedlong Jr. Make sure that this player with the new ability or an improved ability is reflected. Oh, and also I haven't done this yet for Cleburne. So again, the standard round one routine. One of the reasons every team's going to go once is I need to go through and set their rosters and rotations for future use. Next contestant is the Ichon Bears. So we've got a West Coast invasion of the United States brewing. Actually, they are going south, which means they're going to attack one of their own teams. So we got a reserve team. Yeah, it's the RKIA. Hampyong Tigers is being attacked by the Ichon Bears, which is also a reserve team. This is a really good strategy, actually, especially for the weaker Korean teams to attack each other before making landfall in the United States, because these teams are week. So here I am setting up the three-man roster. We've got Jaihwan Lim is going to, and here is a massive problem for some of these teams. And this affects some random teams throughout this entire thing, but they don't have a legit roster. They've got a ton of pitchers and hardly any position players. That doesn't matter. They're not signing free agents or anything. You're playing with what you have. So I'm going to have to fill out their entire roster with the worst pitchers on the staff. So the pitchers who are least likely to appear in a game on the mound, they're going to be playing shortstop and second in the outfield. Attacking team is always the visitor. Here we go. We've got the Ichon Bears with a legit roster. I am going to be very hands-off on this. For the most part, I'm using the manager stuff to set up everything. But right now, you get what you get. So ranking the pitchers by worst, I'm just going to throw them in here, and then I have to assign all the missing positions. I'm not going to show this. I'm going to skip all of this. Okay, while I'm working on this, there is one thing I don't think I've covered that I need to go over. At the very beginning of this tournament, I spent an enormous amount of time cutting every single roster in the game to 25-man rosters. I grew up watching baseball in the 80s and 90s. 25-man rosters are baseball to me. These Korean reserve teams had like 65 players on them, and they were almost all pitchers, so that's how we ended up in this jam. Hundreds of players were cut before the tournament even started. In each case, it was the worst players on every roster, except for the major league teams, which I picked the worst pitcher to cut off every roster, and of course the Korean reserve teams. I had to keep as many position players as I could. There are a handful of teams that are under 25, like there's a couple with 17, etc., but most are 25. Now, let me be clear, as the series goes on, as players are pillaged from other teams, the sky's the limit on your roster max. You can have 39, 47 players on your team by the end of this thing. I actually don't know how high it'll go. Okay, finally to the game. Let's skip to the 5th inning and see what the damage is. Okay, Ichon is only winning by 2, and they're the ones with the errors. That's crazy. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. All right, the Bears win 5-4 with 3 errors, and the Tigers, who have a field full of pitchers playing almost every position, no errors, and they only lose by 1. Interesting. They have 4 hits and 4 runs. Player of the game is Min-Suk Choi. So I'm going to be getting a picture of him, adding him to the game. There he is. I'll also be adding a picture of the player that will be absorbed by the Bears from the Tigers. We'll figure out who that is now. Got to find the best player on the Tigers here. And that looks like we've got 2 to choose from again. 1 and 2 in order that they're listed. We are going to take number 2 and put him on the Bears. And the Hampyeong Tigers cease to exist. Young Tak Sung. And he is now on the Bears. Bears get a little stronger. No upgrades happen when you conquer a team. You just get their best player. Only time you get an upgrade is when you take an empty territory. There he is, 33 rated closer. He is now the 4th best player on the team, so that's a pretty nice update. Let's go ahead and look at the pitching staff and reorder that and see. I'm sure he becomes the closer now. No, he's a setup man. Interesting. Well, again, I don't interfere with that stuff. Now we go to the map. No territory is taken, but the Hampyeong Tigers disappear. The Bears will stay in the same place and eventually attack the Olympic Mountains or possibly the Vancouver team next time. Here's our map. Almost nothing has changed except there's a gap in the Pacific. Next up, Hertz Falcons. We're staying international. Now we go to the East Coast invasion of the United States. Off the coast of Long Island. We could have a game here against the Mets, possibly. Let's spin the arrow. Is it going to be the Mets? Oh, we're going way north. That's not the Mets. That's not even Long Island. Okay, Hertz out of the ocean and onto mainland USA, landing in this tiny eastern Rhode Island county. Their logo will become indistinguishable as we pack it into this tiny space. Just south of the Boston Red Sox. I'm sure the Red Sox are absolutely horrified. Let's find out what kind of upgrades we're going to get to this team. I really look forward to looking to the roster. Let's find the best player on the team. Oh my gosh, these guys are terrible. We've got like 7 people here. To the wheel we go. Which one of these 22 rated players will change the course of baseball history? It's going to be number 4, Cameron Lee. Cameron Lee's the chosen one. He will always be the person that gets upgraded here. Be really interesting to see if Hearts could build some. Oh my goodness, he's a center fielder and he's a 1 in everything. Which attribute will he get a plus 50? Base running skills. Boy, watch out. Boston Red Sox. Let's find out how much this goes up. He had a 22. His base running's going to 160. Let's see what kind of magnificent baseball god Cameron Lee turns into. 22. You got to start somewhere, Hertz Falcons. Oh, base run. Okay, base running went up to 80 on that chart. Okay. He didn't move up at all, but base running went from 55 to 80. That's pretty impressive. Let's go ahead and straighten out the lineup with the new roided out Cameron Lee. And then I got to find a picture of this guy. Let's go ahead and set up their pitching staff for the future, assuming that they're going to play 3 games. That's asking quite a bit. All right, so the big ace Tyler Dale will have their first game. Let's go find a picture of Cameron Lee. There he is. Augusta Green Jackets. This sounds like Georgia, but I actually think it's South Carolina. Yeah. Big county in South Carolina. No opponents in any direction, but lots of plus 50s. So let's find out what they're getting. Let's find out who their best player is. Brett Sears, starting pitcher. Okay, here's the available pitching attributes to be upgraded. Brett Sears is getting, well, he's going to be a better fielder. This is a little confusing. Infield error. The higher the number goes, the less likely they are to make an error. There's actually an incorrect, I looked this up, and online there's one source that actually has it backwards, but I feel confident his infield error is 111. So Brett Sears gets a plus 50 on his errors and remains at 37. 37 total. And there's his picture. Next up, Lake Country Duckhounds. I think that's Wisconsin. Right next door to the Brewers. This could be our first glimpse of a major league team Nope, they are avoiding the Brewers and heading southwest, so they're going to park themselves next to the Skycarp and get a little more powerful while they're at it. New territory for the Dockhounds. I'm sure the Brewers are very nervous about this. Sarcasm. You know, these little teams are not threatening yet, but some of them will be. And the whole point of this is watching those teams assume power. It's got to be hard for one of these. It's got to be hard for a minor league team to last too long in the direct vicinity of a major league team. There's another rule in this that I haven't talked about, and it's you can't skip over bodies of water. So the Brewers cannot go east. They can go north, south, and west, which increases the odds that the Dockhounds are going to get, I'll just say, an opportunity. Plus 52, I versus lefties. Finally, we have a position that's not, or an attribute that's not fielding or running. Robbie Tenerowitz, I'm going to guess. Find out what he looks like in a minute. I versus lefties. There it is. Plus 50, it's still way short of the 600 max. Overall, is at 41 now. I versus lefties looks normal. But it's a start. Once again, it's a start. Gotta get better somewhere. And there he is. Winnipeg Goldeyes. Gonna stay same region. Now we're being invaded from the north. We've got east, west, and northern invaders. The Dominican Summer League teams haven't shown up yet. Winnipeg going east. We're going to hit that bizarre spot in Minnesota that's sticking up. Yeah, I'm just going to call it. I'm going to call it that. So Winnipeg taking that territory. I'm going to take a second here while I'm messing with the map to say that I did not include all of the Dominican teams because there are so many. So I included all the first teams, and then I randomly chose 5 of the second teams. Many of the major league teams have 2 of those. So there are only 5 second Dominican teams. Here's our map. Beginning to see some changes. Who is Winnipeg's best player? Winnipeg. Oh, he's in the 40s. We've got Jacob Robson. Let's see what we get here for Jacob Robson. Jacob's getting gap power, left field gap power. There we go. Plus 50. Robson now at still 40. Disappointing. Fix the rotation. Probably not going to show this every time, but there it is. We got Mitch Lamson is their ace. We'll see him someday, maybe against the Twins. And the gap power upgrade for Jacob Robson puts him, he's at 3rd in the lineup. And he remains at 3rd. Next contestant, Round Rock Express. Okay, going back to Texas. So the AAA team for the Texas Rangers going northwest. Obviously, they're a good distance away from the Astros and the Rangers. We see the Cleburne Railroaders up there at the top. Going to expand into this county next to them. My goal here is always to make the logo as large as possible. We're going to take a little color off the logo as usual. Fill in the new empire of the Round Rock Express. We see the Dominican ships off the coast. Nothing to defend Louisiana, the only state with nothing. We have a bunch of Texas Ranger prospects here. The one that's getting the business is Adrian Hauser. He's already got a picture. Fantastic. We'll be upgrading his ability to turn double plays. All right, his ability to turn double plays from the pitcher's mound. Hey, you take any improvement where you can get it. Turn double plays, he's at a 10. Let's add 50 to 19. Goes to a 69. And now his double plays are 35. From 10 to 35. Okay, load these guys up for the future. Oh, and ignore those stats there. Any stats that you see on this are incorrect. I'm keeping stats separately. Those stats come from a mistake I made at the very beginning and it has nothing to do with the tournament. I need to go into the global settings and clear all those stats. Fayetteville Woodpeckers are up next. Here they are. Going southeast into an upgrade. Their new territory. Ready to defend against European powers. Powers is in quotes. It is Bryce Mayer, a starting pitcher. We're going to improve his. Okay, ability to keep the ball out of play. I didn't really say that right. Let's keep the ball out of play, plus 50. 100 to 150. That should raise his overall rating. Yes, and Bryce Mayer's rating goes from a 35 to a 36. I also want to point out, I did get a picture for Jacob Robson. I didn't show it. Again, in this first episode, I'm going to start kind of weaning myself off of kind of showing the normal things. You can assume they're happening. The Atlanta Braves. Holy moly, we've got a Major League team for the first time. Spin the wheel. Which way are the Braves going? Who are they going to annihilate? Or will they only get better? And it looks like they're getting better. They're going north. Take this county. Can I make them bigger? Yeah, I guess I can. There we go. All right, who is their best player? What do we have? 74 rated Ronald Acuna Jr. getting a plus 50. This is by far, by 30 points, the best player we've seen so far today. So the strong are getting stronger. Here are his... Then we're going to have double plays. He's got a 33 for double plays. His overall rating was a 74. So that's up to 83. And he remains at 74. No surprise. Fix their staff for the future. I don't know what's wrong with the aspect ratio here. It'll be fixed in a second. Once again, we've got fake stats there. Part 2, I'm going to make sure all of the stats that shouldn't be showing in the game are gone. Since I'm running exhibitions for all of these, no stats will be collected in the game. I'm keeping track of them separately. Lexington Legends going to Kentucky for the first time. Surrounded by 50-point upgrades, they're going north. Going to get a little closer to some of the danger that's lurking north of them. But for now, they're totally fine. You can see the Louisville Bats to the west. We've got 2 players that have the same rating. I'm going to go with the second one. First baseman, Curtis Terry. What the heck? I swear, I'm shuffling these. Randomly obsessed with double plays. So we got an outfielder, a pitcher, and now a first baseman who are really working on their double play game. 46 to a 96 out of 250. Still weak. He's a first baseman. He's still at 42. And Curtis Terry's already starting at first base. Only going to become more and more their go-to guy. Keep in mind, every upgraded player is going to be the same person every time, even if there's still a tie later. We're establishing that on this first pass. Next up, one of my favorites, the Lansing Lugnuts. They're going southeast. They're safe. They're in a semi-crowded state. They're creeping closer to the Detroit Tigers, which is not wise. Nice big logo for Lansing. The logo fits the state shape, their new county shape, very well. Lansing Lugnuts making their presence known in central Michigan. Best player on the team is Grant Judkins. He's a reliever. And let's see if we can update his double play abilities. Position ability. This is probably not... we're looking at a milestone moment here in this tournament. His position ability is 200. The max is 200 already. Normally, if you're getting the bonus for something that's already been maxed, you will spin again. I'm going to take position ability off of the thing because most of these players are going to have that. So position ability is going to be removed. All right, so holding runners, definitely an important thing. He's going from 76 to 126, especially as a reliever. All right, 3-man rotation fixed. Strict order. Let's see what the AI manager says. Grant Judkins, reliever no more. Wow, so he's going to start their first game now. Fix their lineups. Got the incredible baseball name of Ryan Lasko leading off. Next up, the Amsterdam Pirates. Coming in off the Atlantic Ocean, the Amsterdam Pirates are going to attack probably somewhere along the coastline of North Carolina. Wait a minute. They are actually going after Kinheim, another Dutch team. Much like with the Korean teams we saw earlier, this is a really good idea. So we are going to have a game here between Kinheim and Amsterdam. We get these rosters and depth charts set. Look at this incredible, the best pitcher on the team's a 29. Let's go. Tayan, I'm not even going to try. Amsterdam is the invader, so they're the away team. Let's go. These two teams duking it out in the Atlantic Ocean. Let's just jump to the end. It looks like Kinheim has bit the dust. The Amsterdam Pirates victorious at sea. Martin Schundervoort is the player of the game. I'll be finding a photo of him. That'll be fun. Kinheim gets sent to Davy Jones' locker here. And the Pirates stay where they are, but they're going to inherit Kinheim's best player. Kinheim's best player is Robin Clara or Nick Coyer. Looks like we're going with Robin Clara. Robin Clara is a closer, and he's being shipped to the Amsterdam Pirates. There we go. Let's go to the Pirates pitching staff and see how the coaches decide to work him in there. Oh, he's the third best player on the team now. Big pickup for Amsterdam. Robin Clara remains middle relief. All right. Let's move on. Glendale Desert Dogs. This is a draft league team. All right, so the draft league teams are made up. I went over this, but it was like 30 minutes ago. So the draft league teams, boy, they're surrounded. We're going to have a game here. I think that's pointing at Vegas. Las Vegas Aviators versus the Desert Dogs. I think this is this our first game that doesn't involve foreign powers? All right, so we've got all these guys that are borrowed here from other teams on the draft league team. Same thing with the Arizona Fall League. So I went over this a long time ago, but like if the Aviators win this game, they can only take a player that doesn't actually belong to another team. And there are like half the roster of Glendale is open, so there won't be any problems. Glendale's got a full roster. Glendale's ready to go. Logan Cherney is leading off. Significantly better than Glendale. Also, keep in mind, I've mentioned this before, but if you forgot, Arizona's all messed up because only one minor league team can be in a county, and there's a lot of teams in Arizona, so they're just kind of crammed everywhere. In fact, I've split some counties to be able to fit all the teams in there. Let's go to the game. Las Vegas will be defending their territory. The Desert Dogs, I forgot, the Desert Dogs are not a draft league team, they're a fall league team. Same difference. So we've got a Corpus Christi Hooks logo there. Don't let that fool you. It's apparently who that player belongs to. Wow, 10-9. The Fall League team put up a hell of a fight. We got a guy hitting 2 home runs. All right, apparently the footage is missing, but Las Vegas Aviators have inherited Chase Davis from the Fall League team. He's the best player not affiliated with another team. Go ahead and sort the depth chart for Las Vegas, and as you can see, Chase Davis is very much a backup player here. 4th in pinch running, not on the pinch hit list, but a reserve player that might come in handy someday. Las Vegas Aviators invading Arizona and wiping out the Desert Dogs. Not necessarily a bigger logo, but I'm repositioning them I mean, it's slightly bigger. The arrow comes from the center of the logo for future reference. I've never said that, but when I'm figuring out which direction they're going, it's from the center of the logo, from wherever the logo is positioned. Arizona Complex League Royals. Back to Arizona. Boy, these counties are so big, even though I've split some of them, that we are really going to see some things happen there. There's the, I've been in this part of Arizona before. It's one of the loneliest places in the world. They're going east. Now they're heading toward the Very Large Array in New Mexico. And don't forget Pie Town. It's an upgrade for the Arizona Complex League Royals, who will never have a real logo unless they outlast the Kansas City Royals. And since I take the colors off of the logos and they don't have one, they're going to remain white. That rule will go for everyone. Their best player is, we've got two, Drew Bream and Yeri Perez. The upgrade will go to Mr. Perez. A lot of closers being upgraded today. 33 rated. Let's see if that goes up. This is important rating. 119. 119 to 169. Yeah, he went up. 33 to 35. Nice plus for the Arizona Complex League Royals. And there is a picture. I haven't shown any pictures in a while, so Mr. Perez has a nice photo. Fix their team up for future reference. 3-man rotation. Perez is already the closer, and he still is. Next team, the Dominican Summer League Diamondbacks Black. Here they are, coming in from Mexico. By the way, I wish the Japanese and Mexican leagues were in out of the park baseball. I really wish they were. Okay. Can't do that. It's like, oh, wait, you can. Okay, so DSL Pirates Gold were one of the 5 teams that were chosen from the second teams. Okay, so I went ahead and put the 5 second teams that were chosen randomly back behind the first line of Dominican teams. So the Diamondbacks are actually attacking the rear, and we got the Pirates set these guys up. I think this is the third time these foreign teams have decided to upgrade themselves before they make landfall. So one of these is going to be gone. The other one's going to be slightly better. Best player on the team here is 30, Brandison Polanco. Oh, we got roster issues. Let me fix this up. All right, we've got that all sorted out. Let's go ahead and play this game. One invader will be eradicated. The other one will be improved. Jump to the end on this one. It is Pirates Gold will prevail. They suffered a surprise attack from the Arizona Diamondbacks. Black. Chung Sang Huang will come to the Pirates team. Be interested to see where he lands in their system. There we go. He's now a Pirate. Pirate Gold. Huang is Pirate Gold. Let's see where he stands. Okay, he's a 30. Okay, he's one of the 2 best pitchers on the team now. So let's see how he fits into the coach's plans. And he is now the ace. Well, he'll start game 2. We'll go ahead and move them up. They're not taking in any territory, but this will put them in a better line of fire for later. Next up, the Hoofddorp Pioneers. Dutch. We go back to the East Coast. We find the Phillies-inspired Hoofddorp Pioneers going to attack the southeastern coast of the United States, I think. Actually, they are. I think they're going to hit somewhere in South Carolina. Yeah, definitely. No game, but we definitely are in line to have one. They are now bordering 2 teams. I don't think the bottom one can attack them, but the one on top certainly can. Their best player is Eddie O'Coin. We're going to be upgrading plus 52 holding runners. He's got a 109 out of 250. Now he's got a 159 rating of 30. Didn't change. Set up the pitching staff. O'Coin's the ace. He was the ace before. He's still the ace. Next up. Oh my goodness. The Los Angeles Dodgers have been chosen. Woe to the Inland Empire 66ers if this goes that way. This is a huge spin. Okay, I think they're heading into a baseball twilight zone, basically. Gonna open up this county. Make the Dodger logo a little bit bigger. All right, Dodger blue, expanding west. And the best player on the team on a scale of 1 to 100 is Shohei Ohtani at 101, breaking the scale, and he's about to get better. Avoiding Ks from right-handed pitchers. What's this going to do? Avoiding Ks right-handed, 407 to 457 out of 600. He had a 101, but now he's at 109. Oh my God. The ratings go from 1 to 100 and he's at 109. Since he bats more than pitches, I elected to upgrade hitting or fielding stats first, which means the next time he shows up, if there is a next time, we're going to go to pitching and then we're going to go back to hitting and then pitching. So I felt it was appropriate to start with hitting. All right, next up we've got the Dominican Cincinnati Reds. They're going to be heading northeast, and that hits the Dominican Marlins. So we've got, by the way, the Cincinnati Rojas are also in here. So that's the one Reds team. This team is the number 2. I'll fix these lineups. We got a guy batting second named Ichiro. Makes me very happy people in Latin America are naming their kids Ichiro. Dominican Marlins at home. Dominican Reds invading. Need to take the worst pitcher and jack him into the lineup as usual. He'll be playing third base. That's fun, so let's look for at least one error from the Marlins. Although the board here says the Marlins they're heavily favored. Entire game, here we go. And the Reds crush the Marlins. This is the biggest blowout we've seen. Okay, so we got a number of players to choose from here. We're going to take number 6. So the 6th man is Jose Paulino, a reliever. He's going to continue to live. He will join the Reds, the Dominican Reds. The rest of his team vanishes. Welcome to the Reds, Jose Paulino. As usual, let's go see how Jose Paulino factors into the Reds' plans. Weird that their overall numbers change when they switch teams. I'm not really sure why that is. I've got scouting turned on to 100% accurate for obvious reasons. Jose Paulino not only is going into the rotation, he's going to start their second game. Wow, that's a big pickup for the Reds. And the Marlins are wiped from the sea, and the Reds will take their place closer to Florida, closer to the Rays. Here's our map. Look at the Las Vegas Aviators. Biggest impression so far. Next team up, we've got the Surprise Saguaros, who are positioned nowhere near Surprise. We're back to that wasteland part of Arizona that is occupied apparently only by elk. Going west, going to take on the Scorpions. These are both Arizona Fall League teams. Who will advance? For a second I thought it was 12 to 10. 4 to 3, Scottsdale. Surprise. Best player is Mark Church. Here's where you see all of the teams that these Fall League and Draft League players, Draft League, am I right? The Fall League players are from other teams. And so Mark Church is their best player, but Augusto Calderon is the best player that can be taken. He's not occupied on any other roster. Control. This is the first time that a movement or control stat has been raised. All right, Augusto Calderon, still middle relief. Don't get me wrong, I like this part of Arizona, but it is empty. I think I spent 3 hours driving in this area, and I think I saw three other cars the whole time going the opposite direction. Massive impression on the map for the Scorpions. Modesto Nuts. Keep in mind the Giants to their west, that is a minor league team. It is not the San Francisco Giants. Modesto going southwest. I think that's going to be the San Jose, I believe it's the San Jose Giants, yeah. San Jose Giants are only single A. I thought they were much higher than that. Got a player missing from Modesto, so we got to bring in the worst pitcher to play catcher. What a mess. San Jose winning by 1. I was curious to see what would happen there with a pitcher playing catcher, but San Jose wins easily. Once again, the team that has a good roster is the one with errors. We had a grand total of 29 people showed up to watch this game. Or 229 people. Lowest attendance I've seen in the tournament so far was one of those Dominican games. I think it said 89 or 82 people were at the game. Modesto Nuts are out. San Jose Giants gaining pretty sizable territory. I mean, look at the San Francisco Giants up there on the tip of that peninsula. You also have the A's to the northeast. Time to pillage the Modesto Nuts. Charlie Bylanson. He is a reliever. These teams are starting out with a maximum of 25 players, no matter how many you start with. I made no effort to get somebody below 25 to 25. There are a few teams that are below 25. But once you begin to defeat teams and inherit their players, there is an unlimited max. Some of these teams are going to have, especially the pro teams, are going to have boatloads of players that are just going to be sitting in the dugout, sitting in the dugout in a kind of extreme reserve situation, you know, in case a game goes 19 innings or something and you need a pinch runner. There's Bylanson. Coming up next, the Idaho Falls Chukars? I don't know. I do know they have a very simple but effective logo. It's down there in southeast Idaho. Look at that. No text or anything, just the head of a bird. This is a Pioneer League team. This team has the opportunity to obtain the most land for the least amount of effort of just about anybody. I like it. All right, who's their best player? Logan Mercado. Starting pitcher. What are we upgrading? Top pitch ability. That's a new one. So whatever their best pitch is, what's the max here? The max is 600. All right, Logan Mercado is already their number one starter. Now he's on a pitch count of 85. I'm not going to change any of that stuff. I'm making no interference. I'm letting the managers of these teams do what they need to do. Headed to the East Coast, Jersey Shore Blue Claws. They can't go east. Best player on the team. Well, we've got a whole bunch of 37s. Pitchers, we get a shortstop. We haven't updated a shortstop yet. Goes to number 5. This relief pitcher is going to see an improvement, a 50-point improvement to his position ability. Okay, as I mentioned before, I haven't taken it out yet, but I am now. Positionability is no longer going to be an option for anyone. So this pitcher is going to become a better fielder. Infield range going up 50 points. 44 to 94. They had a 37. Let's see if they went up to 38. No, they're still at 37. But Braden Tucker is the person who will be updated for the Jersey Shore Blue Claws for the rest of the game until... By the way, this is a good time to bring up that if your best player that's been upgraded a few times gets captured by another team when you lose, you can only upgrade somebody who's been on your team the whole time. So the upgrades only keep coming if you are still on your original team. Holy moly, the Detroit Tigers. I don't think there's anybody immediately next to them. Yeah, and you can't go across the lake, so those teams in New York, Pennsylvania, and Ohio are safe. But they're going to edge closer to the lug nuts. Can't really make that logo bigger, and it's so simple that I'm going to go with yellow to make sure it stands out. Best player on the Tigers, Tariq Skubal. Holding runners, a popular choice. Now, the same player will be upgraded all the time in this process, but it can always be... I'm always going to randomize what skill gets increased. His rating went down to an 81. It was an 82. I increased his hold runner by 50, and his overall rating drops to 81. Can anyone explain that? Headed back south of the border, Dominican Cardinals. We have an open shot at Florida here, and that's where they're going. We finally have a Dominican team that's not going to attack another Dominican team. And there's a lot of teams in Florida, but we have entered a spot where no one is protecting them. The southern part of Florida is loaded. The Panhandle, relatively unprotected. There is a team in Pensacola. Rainiel Rodriguez, he's a catcher. There are catcher-only attributes on the wheel. Oh, hell yeah. Power goes up versus right-handed pitching by 50. Overall rating goes up 1 point to 34. Set their team for later. We have a Dominican team that's made landfall in the continental United States. So we have officially been invaded from the south. We've already got Dutch and English teams making landfall in the east. No Korean teams have landed in the west yet. Asheville Tours for next. Southeast. Best player by far is Tyler Ivey. He's like in another league compared to the rest of the roster. And this will definitely make him even better. Yeah, up to 48. A lot of activity in that region. Next up, back to Texas. I have not seen a Corpus Christi Hooks game, but I have driven by their stadium at night while there was a game going on. It was really impressive. The mainland teams, by the way, cannot attack the offshore teams because, again, that involves jumping over water. So pretty much only upgrades coming for the Hooks. They managed to expand their territory without opening themselves up to be a bigger target from the Dominican invaders. So it looks like their long-term strategy is to keep upgrading. Interesting. They have 2 more moves west. They cut off the entire bottom part of Texas. Best player on the team is Sean Dubin at 44. Let's see if he goes up. Top pitch ability. Top pitch is... fastball. 454. I have to raise his potential as well. And he's gone to 47. Whoa. The manager has decided Sean Dubin is no longer closing. He is now their ace starter for game 1. The heck is his stamina? Okay, we're getting down to the end. We just have a couple of teams left to qualify for the end of the video. I think we're at 28. Hub City Spartan Burgers. This team has a nutty logo. Hub City Spartan Burgers. Where are they? Oh, I see them. Yeah, I mean, I think they've clearly based this logo on like burger joints. Going east, gonna avoid an immediate contest, get a little improvement before they're in a congested area. So I want this team to hang around. I want this wacky logo to be in the game for a while, getting bigger. Love it. There's a lot of teams that have taken spots in this area, including where the game began. Their best player is Paul Bunzagny. Paul Bunzagny's coming in at a 41. Top pitch ability once again. It's the new infield range. His top pitch is a sinker. 375. Still at a 41. Bunzagny's now their ace, the 90 pitch limit. Oh no, for Hub City. They only have 6 position players. They're wasting one of them in DH. I'm sure he can do something else. But again, I'm not messing with it. Springfield Cardinals will be our last contestant for this video. I think the second team in the video was the Palm Beach Cardinals. So we're kind of beginning with the Cardinals and ending with the Cardinals. And this team is in an excellent position. They can sit here forever, just picking up improvements to somebody. Let's find out who. Not a whole lot of opponents around them. There is the map. The end of the first inning, we have 8 teams have been eliminated and 30 have moved on to the second round. We've got 8 teams have imported a player and 22 teams have upgraded. Drew Rom at 44 is the best player in the Springfield Cardinals. Finishing off with a Double-A team. Hallelujah, he has his own picture in here already. I've already spun the thing. We're going infield error again, so that's going to go to an 89. And Drew is at a 44. He is the ace, and our lineups are going to be slim. Wow, a Double-A team, and these guys aren't exactly ready. Well, they're going to have to make do. Maybe they can steal a player someday. They've got plenty of upgrades. It'll be a routine ending for every video here. I'm going to give you a rundown on the stats. Here are players of the game. All right, thank you so much for tuning into this, and I will be back as soon as I can with the next round of 30 teams that are going to move forward. We'll see who lives and who dies, and we'll also see if your favorite local minor league team or favorite major league team will actually get into action and do something significant. See you then.